Hey everyone, Grayson the Bard here, and welcome back to day 15 of the Hunting a Monster Until Monster Hunter Wilds releases challenge. And today, like I mentioned for yesterday's video, I wanted to kind of keep the status train a-rolling, as well as keep talking about monsters that are exclusive to Monster Hunter World that did not make their way to Rise, with my personal favorite Elder Dragon in the game, Val Hazak. I really love this guy. He is a spooky, gross, creepy corpse dragon with like a, you know how the xenomorph in Alien has like the little mouth inside of its mouth? It's got kind of that thing going on. It has a really unique status mechanic that I'll talk about a little bit. But in general, I love everything about it. Its fight is, I think, really fun. Even if it is a bit simplistic, it is the most mechanically not necessarily complex of the three main Elder Dragons that are in the game, Kushala Daora, Teostra, and then Val Hazak instead of Chameleos, which I still kind of wonder why they did that. Not that I'm complaining. But yeah, talking about kind of Val Hazak's unique mechanics, it has complete mastery of the effluvium status, which is exclusive to Monster Hunter World. It has not shown up in any other game. It is not from any other game. It's exclusive to Monster Hunter World and I think even then exclusive to just one map. It only ever shows up in the Rotten Vale. But rather than like Poison, where it will proc immediately and then tick down damage slowly over time, it instead slowly builds up as you take damage from, effluvium attacks or like stand in these clouds of this like noxious gaseous smoke. It will slowly build up on your hunter, and then you will take both a pop of damage and it will reduce your maximum health. Unfortunately, I don't think it procced in this hunt. I did not fully, like I mentioned yesterday in the Nightshade Paluma video, I kind of wanted to show off what the monster could do, so I still gemmed in a little bit of resistance to effluvium, but I did not max it all the way where it fully prevents it. So you can see me taking like a couple little ticks of damage here and there, but it never fully procs the complete and utter nightmare that is the maximum health reduction. But I remember fighting this thing when World first came out, and it completely wrecking my shit until I was able to gem in that effluvium resistance, and then it just became a pretty standard fight. But I really like the way this thing moves. I like its moveset. I love how it gives you really big openings to punish it while still like being really quick and threatening as an Elder Dragon. I also remember spending so much time trying to farm this thing's stupid fang because I really wanted to make its greatsword, which is just, the way. The desire sensor is real and hates you. So now, talking about the probability of Val Hazak returning in Wilds, it is an interesting one because Val Hazak is so intrinsically tied to this one status that has only appeared in one game, and even more so, it is completely tied to this one map in that one game, the Rotten Vale, which is essentially a monster graveyard where like monsters go to die, their corpses decompose and like provide nutrients to the area, geographically above it. This is where all that effluvium gathers and where Val Hazak naturally lives and thrives, and therefore you really can't have it exist anywhere else and have it make sense, unless there is an area that is very similar to the Rotten Vale. In Iceborne, there's a variant of Val Hazak, Black Veil Val Hazak, which is able to go to other areas because it, essentially, takes effluvium with it as these, fungal spores that it grows on itself and spreads out to essentially make, contaminate any environment and make it livable for itself. It's kind of like, I apologize for bringing up Warhammer, but, it's kind of like Nurgle, the plague demon that just spreads rot and disease wherever it goes. It's kind of like that. And I'll talk a little bit more about that if and when I fight it, because I think that's a really cool way to disconnect it from the Rotten Vale and let it, venture out. But it also kind of means that Val Hazak itself is in a very similar situation, I think, to Gobel from Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, where it's very tied to a specific mechanic and a specific zone. So much so that unless those zones and unless those mechanics come back, I don't think we can see Val Hazak again in its base form. So in terms of Valhazak on its own, I would say maybe like I think like a 2, maybe like a 1 or 2 out of 10 to return in wilds. If we get some kind of like corpsey, rotten plague zone, then maybe. But in fact, if we see some kind of zone that's similar to the Rotten Vale, they could do something with the weather that makes it gross and mushroomy somewhere maybe, and then like Black Veil could show up, or Valhazak could show up if there's a lot of just rot. I don't know, it's hard to say. I'm gonna say like 1 or 2 for Valhazak proper returning to Monster Hunter Wilds. And similarly, I don't think it's unlikely, but Valhazak seems like one of those elder dragons that we're not going to see again for a long time. Like, it is a very unique mechanic. It's a very interesting fight, but it's also not one of the mainstay popular Elder Dragons that's going to show up in as many games as Capcom can fit it in. So I would similarly, unfortunately, despite how much I love him, put Valhazak at like a 3 or a 4 out of 4 for returning later in the game. It's possible, but it's not likely. Which, again, is a damn shame, because he is such a really cool fight. It's got really neat, gross armor and weapon designs that would fit like right in the like the kind of grungy aesthetic that that Monster Hunter Wilds looks like it's gonna have. He's definitely on my list of monsters that I really, really want to see again. And that's it for today. Enjoy the rest of the fight. Stick around till the end if you can. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to. Don't if you don't. And until next time, I'll see you next time.